Yes, and we are live and want to see if we could add in the guest on this particular live topic. The boxing Jedi, Mr. J COTTO. Hashtag come back to boxing, brother.
No doubt, brother. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. What's going on, my man?
All right, so we got this thing going on, man. We have this thing promptly titled "How Many Excuses Are Going to Be Made for Deontay Wilder?" And I put in the answer like, certain basketball players said, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, and so I wanted to see if we could pretty much get into it, but this kind of goes into the theme of how I have been labeled over the course of the past 2 years or so. Because I have been labeled as a hater of Deontay Wilder.
Me too.
And as a result, I I have been given a nickname of Darth Hater.
Oh wow, that's an honor. I wish I had that. I wish they would have labeled me that. That's hot, man. Darth Hater.
Yeah, Darth Hater. So, as a result, people have ran with this and basically given me
That's
this
dope.
label.
That is
So,
hot.
so to open this particular segment,
Oh,
let
Darth Hater, I love it.
us just continue on with that particular theme and just run with it, folks.
Yep. I hate Deontay Wilder. That's what you say. What that shit sounds so gay. Cause we just hate his pedigree, which is 0 degrees. He can't fight for shit, can't fight. Wilder cannot fight. He got no basics for a fight. Word, man, that's crazy, bro. That's dope though, man. They called you Darth Hater. That's amazing, bro.
I find your lack in the sport disturbing.
You are not worthy to use the power of the dark side.
Deontay Wilder is the traitor of the sport, and he has no fundamentals.
He has no fundamentals. He should not be with us, the Empire.
Oh,
Hey, yo, we gotta continue on this laughing mood, man, because
bro, it's ridiculous. We're being name called, and they're doing exactly what we're telling them that they're doing, and they're saying, "No, I'm not." It's like if you see a dude in a car and you're like, "Dude, you're driving a car," and he's like, "No, I'm not." You know what I mean? Dude, you call us out our names and stuff, and
all
you
this
know,
other stuff,
yeah,
man.
just because we
It's
have
crazy.
boxing knowledge, these guys don't agree to it. So what is the first thing they do? They call us names, not knowing and realizing that they're really helping us out with that. That's
Yeah,
dope.
they're
Darth
basically
Vader.
just showing the lack of knowledge that they have, but keeping in the laughing
Now, on the
mood.
aftermath, we've been waiting to hear what he's going to say. He's come out and said that the suit he wore, the outfit he wore to the ring, was too heavy and it's kind of weakened his legs.
My legs were how they were because of my uniform. My uniform was
You know what? He talks so much crap. He say he wants to kill someone.
This is the only sport where you can kill a man and get paid.
He wants to get a body in his record.
I will get a body on my record.
He's the hardest puncher in the
I can't even take this nigga seriously no more.
He got beat up so bad.
The outfit that you wore
Yo.
to the ring is why you think you lost this fight. I'm not saying that it may not be true. These are honorable dudes. I will take him at his word. But my God, this
With
is
your
just
soliloquies.
publicized.
Oh my God!
This
But my
might be
God,
the
this
most
excuse is
embarrassing
just
excuse
preposterous and
that I've
ridiculous.
ever heard.
It
For a guy
seems to me that I'm talking beyond the grave to actually say that Deontay Wilder cannot handle an ass whooping. They're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna laugh at you.
Oh no, we got oh, no. Yo.
No, it's the Wild the Truth podcast. It is the Wild the Truth podcast. You happen to find yourself over here and reporting live. Definitely, kid. Definitely. Do yourself that favor.
Oh man, shout out to YSM Sports Media.
Oh shit, bro.
Yeah,
Oh,
hey,
man.
yo, shout out to YSM Sports Media, man. He's out there working hard, man. But yeah, yo, I don't know,
Yo. Expect
Oh,
a lot of
God.
this shit, son. Expect a lot of it simply
God,
because
here
these
we
guys,
go. I
these
can't,
guys,
yo.
these guys listen to a guy who just started kickboxing and is
Oh.
1-4. 1-4.
Oh my
Knows
God,
nothing of the
yo.
equipment that he has. Calls himself Young Pharaoh. And these
Young
guys
Pharaoh.
take something from us. These guys take something that a non-boxing fan, a dude that's just from the YouTube black sector, and comes over here, doesn't have not one box, and these guys they just praise this dude for no reason because everything Ishe Smith came out this morning and debunked the whole shit. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, bro. Call us haters all you want, but you guys are Wilder cock swallowers, bro. Each and every one of you that are running with this.
Yo, there have been multiple people that have debunked this. That is that's been done time and time again.
And you know what, YSM? You know what, YSM and everybody else out there that's a Wilder fan? I'll give you this. And you're gonna have to agree with me on this. If you're gonna report this live, report this. This you cannot refute this, every Wilder fan. It is not Wilder that's coming out with these crazy ass excuses, except for the first one. The first one. Right? Which was the 45-pound or 40-pound, whatever, right? But everything else, it is you fans that are fabricating these things and making this guy look like a beat-up woman over here, a battered, I mean, come on, bro. And then you guys are making fun of Anthony Joshua's, following. I mean, hello, Nick Rich. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, I think I may have that particular video in my watch history. Hopefully I do. Where I saw the thing on the Mayweather boxing channel. Amir Abdallah did talk about this in the in an interview where he basically like went through like the thing with Young Pharaoh. So I'm like trying to search on it on my search history, but it was that was just just so funny, man.
I'm just saying, JR.
Oh, man,
am I right? Am I right or am I wrong here? What is a man who just started kickboxing? His record is 1 win, 4 losses. Talking about boxing for? What are you doing? Like if you know what a glove is like, you haven't even won with a pair of gloves. Just one fight, dude. You don't know the
this
mechanics
is
of how the equipment works. Like a dude that has 4 losses with 1 win does not deserve any type of attention, bro. When speaking of the sport, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. You know.
all right, Kate. All right, let me see. I think I got this next. So let me see. I'm gonna see if I could cue this up. Where they do talk about it, because I knew that I saw it before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and share it right here. So let's run it.
Let's get it. Good morning to everyone on the check-in. No doubt.
Here with Amer Abdallah inside the Mayweather Boxing Club. Amer, a lot of people don't know, but you're involved in the Mayweather channel with us. We've been getting hammered the last few days by a couple channels that what I say are agenda-driven. One young individual, young Pharaoh, has really been going after us hot and heavy. I didn't realize you have a connection with young Pharaoh. Tell us about that and what is it, your bitch ass organization, promotional organization you have going on?
I don't know the kid personally. I mean, he trains under one of the guys that I trained in Buffalo. I opened up a gym in Western New York, MMA. He seems like a nice kid. I mean, our matchmaker talked to him a couple of times, and I think I had a couple of conversations with him. And I know after the fight, I had a couple of conversations with him. He seems like a nice kid. I understand, making a name for yourself.
Yeah, we're gonna add another person on.
He fought on our card. I didn't even remember what it was.
And I think I know who it's gonna be. I think I know who it's gonna be.
Upstate New York and Lockport, and he lost the fight.
What's going on? Good morning.
And
you out there working hard, man. You're on the streets, bro. What's good?
Man, all I remember was,
I'm trying to get my stand
jazz,
together.
white folk cracker.
Man, you are pretty white.
Good.
Yeah, very white. Yeah, I'm Palestinian.
We just
Muslim
going through this
Palestinian,
thing here with young Pharaoh, man, and
everything is. I have more African.
Nick Rich was, talking about.
It doesn't matter.
The thing, what he was saying about young Pharaoh. So we're just going through that video here right now,
you're
man.
racially motivated, and every time you start, identifying judges.
Hey,
mind you, there's black judges there. They're like, it's even embarrassing to even talk about.
I got a question. Why are y'all making this dude
the
popular?
race of the judges? Come on, man, we're beyond that shit. Relax.
JR, you might want to pause
it's
this.
crazy. I don't know.
I'm gonna pause it here real quick.
Hey, what's up, YSM? How you doing? I'm Jay COTTO, the Boxing Jedi. Good to meet you, my brother. Thank you.
Good, bro.
Thank you for your service in the sport of boxing. It's always appreciated. For me, there is no across the street or no side. It's just straight up, boxing. Now, my whole stance here, I'm not hating on Wilder. It's just he got no fundamentals. I've been saying this ever since I saw this kid. You know what I mean? Along with other professionals. On top of that, I don't feel that he's the one making the excuses. It's his fan base that's making him look crazy. The reason why we're exposing this Pharaoh dude is because, can I just have your opinion for 4 minutes, sir? What is a guy with a kickboxing record of 1 win, 4 losses, talking about trying to expose boxing equipment, boxing gloves, when he hasn't even learned how to use it himself? That's all I'm saying. So we're not making him famous. We're exposing this guy because his credibility is totally shot with Gatlins, AR-15s, 45 shot down. This guy,
AK-47s.
Exactly. This guy is part of the black sector in YouTube, talking about, black rights and stuff like that. We understand that. But now you come into somewhere where you have no idea of what you're speaking of. So this is why a lot of uploaders are not really giving them the clout. But if you look at the videos, we're all shooting them down because this guy, he's making us look bad. And I'm including you as well, because you're out here trying to, talk the sport of boxing. And then you got this guy coming with these fabricated, story. Mind you, he's got a lot of skeletons in the closet, and we already know what it is with that. You know what I mean? So I think he should be worried about what he's doing, trying not to expose himself or exposing whatever he got and fixing that in his life, instead of trying to fabricate a lie on somebody who won a title. I mean, no matter what, it's not going to turn around. There's no decision that's going to be turned around, because if this happens, then what happens is that you don't need a ref, you don't need judges, you don't need anything. It's just going to be like, okay, fans, who won this fight? You feel he won, and it's going to be a clap meter, and then that's how they're going to give titles. It's just my, it's just my opinion, my brother.
All right, so well, first, even by you got both sides of making this dude very popular, because you got sides that are showing his video saying look, and then you got sides that are debunking this stuff. So regardless or not,
oh man, look, like that dude. What was it? Show Great or whatever.
Yeah, it's like he regardless or not, everybody has his name on their lips. So whatever he did, it was successful because now his name is out there. As far as with the glove thing, me and JR, we've had this talk a bunch of times. The glove isn't why Deontay Wilder lost. Do I think Tyson Fury is doing something with his glove? Yeah, but it's a tactic that's been used for years. Boxers do it. We all know. People, Mike Tyson used to rub and move the padding around in his gloves before fight. They do stuff like this. It is what it is. Wilder lost for a couple of reasons, right? Fundamentals will be one. Lack of game planning. Him and his team didn't prepare for the Fury that showed up that night. As far as what the costume goes, it's to my understanding that he never said that to Lance Pugmire. Lance Pugmire overheard him. I feel like that's a bit disingenuous. If he never said it to you, stop quoting him like it was him using an excuse. If it's him talking to his team saying, yo, I shouldn't have did that, that's different than, yo, why'd you lose the fight? Oh, my 45-pound costume. That's different. I feel like media does that a lot. And me and JR, we can't stand that. Like that's something that irks us.
And the thing with that is like we go through this when it comes to certain reports that come out and things like that.
I'm sorry. Real fast, JR. YSM, I respect your stance, my brother. Thank you for sharing that.
When we talk about the media a lot in reference to things that come out. And one of the things that was a big topic last year was the thing with Dylan White. When it comes to the thing about the adverse finding and how International Boxing Hall of Famer Thomas Hauser came out with that particular report. And then months later, Dylan White was cleared of everything. So when it comes to that, it's like Thomas Hauser, real talk, Thomas Hauser should really be sued because he released information that he shouldn't have basically released at that particular time. Because that type of thing incites a reaction. We talk about this with media all the time, Jay, when it comes to media in general, that the media pushes out stories in order to incite reactions from the general public to get them to be in a mass hysteria or a panic.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when it comes to this thing with Deontay Wilder, is that when they talk about this whole thing with the 40-pound suit, if that is something where he didn't say that directly, he needs to squash that immediately. Because
that's exactly what I'm saying. Deontay Wilder needs to come out with a public statement and tell everybody, his fans, I never said this. You guys need to stop this. But instead he came out caping for it. I'm a warrior. I'm never that was nothing that needed to be said because you stepping in there with gloves, we already know you're a warrior, regardless of the missing fundamentals you had.
That whole thing with the social media, that video that he released talking about they don't know what it is to fight and all of this type of stuff. That's not, basically the way that he should go about this. He should go ahead, accept the loss, work on what he needs to work on so that once the third fight happens, then he'll be able to do better in the third fight. Now, we were talking about as far as like the fight itself that Wilder didn't necessarily prepare correctly. And I've said that Tyson Fury prepared perfectly to fight Deontay Wilder over the course of the year. So as a flip side, Deontay Wilder should take about a year break or so and fight guys that are similar to Tyson Fury in order for him to be more prepared for what Tyson Fury does.
And on top of that, the reason why he failed as well is because, you see, he went from here, missing all these levels, and went here, right? And then try to go backwards and fight two top 10s here. And then, he wasn't sure of the first victory with Ortiz, fought him again for no reason. And I understand that sometimes champs are like, oh, he gave me a good shot. I got to redeem myself. He gave me problems. No doubt, but this wasn't needed. The Tyson Fury rematch was needed. That could have happened after he went and got his money. But instead, he went back. Now, these levels where I'm speaking of where it's empty is where he needs to climb back down and fill those back up. That's where he'll gain his pedigree in order to meet the elites in his. Because to tell you the truth, you got Joshua with 3 straps already beat all of his top 10s. You know what I mean? He's elite. You got Fury, who's elite. You got Parker, who's elite. Deontay Wilder is elite on paper, but in the ring, he's not. He's lacking fundamentals. You know what I mean? 40 guys that they threw in front of him, and we've already done the quantity and the quality, build up and stuff like that. So you got to really look at it. Yes, it takes skill to knock a person out, no doubt. But now when it was skill against skill, and for him to put that skill to knock out that person, the only reason why the first fight, and if you look closely, I pointed this out. The reason why Tyson Fury got knocked down on the last round was because he went in medium range with his hands down, showing off. And what happened? Boop, boop. And that's what happened. And then what happened? He got up, and everybody couldn't believe how he got up. Tyson got a chin. He you know what I'm saying? He's got pedigree. He got up, he fought, and he figured something out. If I bring it to him, he can't fight backwards. That's what happened this whole second rematch.
All right, YSM, could you comment on this a little bit? And I'm going to get on what Jay said in reference to that first particular fight.
Okay, so number one, Wilder's elite, right? He doesn't have an elite skill set as far as boxing skills like footwork, hand placement, head movement, and all that. But at athleticism, he's an elite athlete, right? He has good speed, great power, and so on and so forth. So I don't like when guys like Tyson Fury is a unicorn. You're never going to see another Tyson Fury again. You're never going to see a guy 6'9", 260 that can move like that.
Right.
You're not going to see that again. So when people be like, oh, well, since Tyson Fury did it, everybody else can do it. No, they can't, because you got to be able to take that punch. Well, I don't think Joshua can take that shot. Now, is Wilder going to be able to get the shot off? I don't know. But every fighter is different, and every fight is different. So just because Tyson Fury put it on him, don't mean Joseph Parker or your Dillian Whites, all them dudes would be. Because I don't have Dillian White or Joseph Parker beating Ortiz. I just don't. But like every fight is different. So they may fight Wilder better, and they may lose to Ortiz, and vice versa. But
that is true. That's true.
To just throw a blanket statement like there's things that Wilder needs to work on, but at the same time, every trainer I talk to, he is what he is. He's Max Beard.
Right.
If I had to sum him up in one guy, he's Max Beard. You know what he is? Tyson Fury just had a great formula for beating him. Nobody else has fought him like that was that size. All of his deficiencies go against or work well against a 6'2" guy. But
all right, let me ask you a question.
Guy in there who warmed his ass up.
Let me ask you a question. All right, so working off the pedigree, right? Well, I was saying, all right, he's got that punch, but see, that's the thing. This is why I say other fighters that Chisora, White, Ruiz, these guys can box. Wilder can't box. The fundamental the fundamentals that he's missing is very, very critical to his pedigree, simply because his defense. He doesn't even have basic defense. Then fighting backwards. You've got Andy Ruiz who comes forward, can box. I doubt Wilder gets past him. I doubt Wilder gets past him out easy. You think so? You think so, Wilder? I don't know.
I don't know about that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know, because like I said,
I don't know about that.
When you take a look at guys like Andy Ruiz, Chisora, White, these guys have been fighting hard fights. These guys are calloused all around. Deontay Wilder has not had any type of attrition except for these 2 fights with Tyson Fury. As to you look at all the battle of attrition, no, it's true. It's true.
No,
it's true. No, you know why? You know why it's true? You know why it's true? Take a look at his resume and you tell me exactly who he had a hard fight with.
Spilka.
That wasn't a hard fight, bro.
Yes, it was.
What round did he knock him out? What round did he knock him out?
Round 9?
Okay, round 9, right? Round 9. Now, if you're gonna say it was a hard fight, this is my point here. Why was it a hard fight?
Spilka's a tricky southpaw.
Well, you can say that, but it was the fundamentals. Had he had fundamentals, he would have known how to handle a southpaw. Everybody who has fundamentals knows how to handle a southpaw. Usually they don't win. Usually they don't win. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that knows a southpaw, that has pedigree and knows how to handle southpaw wins, but they know and they last longer. They survive in there. Wilder against Spilka showed that, you know, had it not been for him just landing that punch, and it was a very strategic punch, but it caught him all that damage in order to land that game plan. This is exactly what I'm saying. When somebody that has pedigree, like you was, you know, mentioning before, YSM, you know, didn't have the game, you know, Tyson Fury had the game plan, right? So what makes you think that these guys who have pedigree can make up the same game plan and add even more to it and defeat him? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
They don't have the physical tools. Tyson Fury is an anomaly. Wilder struggles. Wilder goes straight back. Stupidest fucking defense ever. But I'm a fan. But he goes straight back. You can do that against a guy 6'2". You can't do it against a guy that's 6'9". So when people say Dillian White doesn't have the skill set to pull that shit off. Dillian White gets knocked. He gets knocked down.
What's up, man?
By everyone.
He's got power though. He's got power.
Yeah, but it's a bunch of dudes that Wilder faced with power. You have to be able to deliver it and to be able to take what comes back. Tyson Fury, for as good as he is just like you're never going to see that again. You're just not. Andy Ruiz is going to give up too much ground, and I just got him getting caught with a straight right hand. Joseph Parker is not elite.
I'm just talking the Andy Ruiz that showed up for Anthony Joshua, the first fight.
Which one?
I'm talking.
I'm
talking the Andy Ruiz that spoiled Evander Holyfield. You know what I'm saying? At the age of 19, more than fucking 4 times. Andy Ruiz has pedigree. He just slacked himself up. He messed himself up just like Fury messed himself up. You know what I mean? You know, these guys they defeated themselves. But what I'm saying here
is to say that Andy Ruiz will show up.
Right.
We don't know.
All right. I'm going to, go ahead and, break this thing down. You were talking about the thing with Tyson Fury and all of that. Now, Andy Ruiz is a good comparison because a lot of people now have, compared, and, me and YSM have done this. They compared this particular loss by Deontay Wilder to Tyson Fury to Anthony Joshua's defeat to Andy Ruiz Jr. on June 1st, 2019. And I basically pointed out a lot of similarities in this, that Andy Ruiz and Tyson Fury are similar in a sense, and that Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are similar in a sense. Why I say that is because Andy Ruiz and Tyson Fury have been fighting since they were a very young age. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua were starting to fight at around 18 to 19 years old.
Mm.
So they basically, shot up in the in boxing because either they were able to use their height and reach or their skills in order to defeat the fighters that they were able to defeat up until that particular point that they lost. Now, going to the thing with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua was scheduled to fight June 1st at Madison Square Garden against Jarrell Big Baby Miller. So initially, he was training to fight Jarrell Miller. Okay. He wasn't originally, training to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. Now, we could go into the whole thing about the background of, what Anthony Joshua was doing before and after the fight, but I'm going to focus on Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy Ruiz Jr., before June 1st, fought somebody that was around the same height and had almost the same reach as Anthony Joshua. So he knows how to fight tall guys with a longer reach. He's done that for most of his fighting life. So while you had the whole thing in the third round where, Anthony Joshua knocked down Andy Ruiz, that was the first knockdown of Andy Ruiz's career, he tried to bet on continuing that and getting up close when you don't necessarily hook with a hooker. And he lost in that exchange. with Tyson Fury, he's been, fighting since he was like 10 years old or so. Part of a fighting family, Big John Fury. He had his uncle as well. And he's somebody that's 6'9", with the long reach, that can move around the ring like, nobody's really seen in a very long time. Like you said, YSM, he's a unicorn. And the thing with Deontay Wilder, and I've said this, is that he has issues with guys that are close to his height or at his height or above. If they're much shorter, then he uses his length and reach in order to keep his distance, and he's able to deal with those guys. Now, people say that the thing with Spilka was a difficult fight. It was a difficult fight because Spilka moved his head a lot. So you didn't necessarily have a stationary target to throw your jab or to, try to land your right hand on. Because at times when Deontay Wilder tried to be aggressive and come forward and use his punches and things like that, what he ended up doing was he overreached himself. That's why, like at one time when he tried to throw the right, he ended up stumbling and falling down because he didn't measure the distance that he had between him and Spilka at that time. But when he became patient, knew where his reach was, where he would be able to, use his left hand, he backed up and he measured the distance between him and Spilka and baited Spilka to come forward. And that's when he was able to come in with the right hand and hit him at mid-range and pretty much, knock Spilka straight out. Against Fury, he couldn't really do that. Against the likes of Eric Molina, you're dealing with the guy that's around the same height. Against Johan Duhaupas, you're dealing with the guy that's almost the same height. That's why it took, that many rounds that it did in order for Wilder to have that fight stopped. And he, suffered a cut during that particular fight. Even though it was, one round, Brazil was able to catch Wilder a couple of times in that one round. So when you see, Wilder going up against Fury, Fury was able to control the distance and control the pace on Wilder pretty much in the first fight. Now, when you talk about the two knockdowns, okay, that happened in the first fight, none of the punches that were landed flush on Tyson Fury. And I'm going to show you why. In the first knockdown in the 9th round, he got caught pretty much on the top of the head, but it wasn't at full force. He stumbled down, and when he was down on the canvas, he pretty much held the top of his head, with a little bit of pain. But while the 9th round continued, he was able to get himself back into the fight and pretty much had the upper hand by the end of that round. 12th round, it was the same thing. But in the 12th round, what Fury was doing, because he did it the whole fight. Every time that Wilder threw the left, Fury would duck down. That's what he would do. But in this instance, what happened was when Fury tried to gauge what Wilder was doing and ducking down, Wilder threw the right. And when he threw the right, he got caught. And then he stumbled back. And when he stumbled back, he got grazed with the left and then went down. And when he went down, he had his full faculties up because his eyes were open and everything like that. So we could clearly see Jack Reese and get up by the count of 9. That wasn't no crooked count or no bad count or he didn't beat the count or anything like that. Tyson Fury fully knew what was going on in that instance.
And on top of that, with the ref counting, they have another official ref, other official refs counting since
right.
And that's why the ref always looks at the other refs on the ringside to pick up the count.
Jack Reese followed protocol.
Yep.
After any knockdown, the first thing that he does is he puts the other guy that scored the knockdown on a neutral corner. That's first. He makes sure that happens. Then after that happens, he looks to the other official that has the count and continues to count from when the official counted. And so that's what ended up happening when Jack Reese put Deontay Wilder to a neutral corner, then looked to the other referee that was outside of the ring, and then continued the count towards Tyson Fury. And when Tyson Fury did that, he was down there. He had his leg up because Jack Reese explained it. He was like, if you're pretty much like knocked out, you wouldn't have your legs like you have it and have your full faculties, basically. So actually, what Jack Reese did is basically what the referee should have done when Daniel Jacobs got knocked down by Dimitri Pirog, because Daniel Jacobs was ready to get up, but they pretty much stopped the count. But Jack Reese here in this case with Tyson Fury, he continued the count, and then Fury got up at 9, and then he went through the similar protocol that he did in round 9 to say, go this way, go that way, look at me, are you okay? And then he went out. And so the thing about that is like he was able to finish that round and almost, and really hurt Deontay Wilder by the end of that 12th round as well. So, Jay, you had something?
No, I just wanted to say that if you notice as well, the main thing that a lot of these biased Wilder fight fans are not really looking at or even mentioning. I mean, they called Joshua a quitter, and he didn't even quit. Nobody threw in the towel. The ref stopped the fight. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you got to look at Wilder's. They threw the towel in. That you can say that Wilder quit. That's number one.
Come on,
and number one, they threw in the towel.
I disagree with the quit part.
Hold on. No. When you throw in a towel, even if it's your corner, what are they doing? Stopping the fight. Right or wrong?
They are stopping the fight.
Now I'm speaking on these Wilder fan logics. This is why you have to agree. I'm not speaking on our logic. We're speaking on these crazy people's logic, where they're saying Anthony Joshua quit, and he showed no signs of quitting. Didn't tell the ref he wanted to quit. Nobody threw in the towel. The ref stopped the fight. That's not quitting. But your corner throws in the towel. You wear the outfit. You're part of the faction. So Wilder's a quitter in your logic. So let's look at the towel here. Let's look at the major thing as to why the fight was stopped. The towel was thrown in. It had nothing to do with whether Wilder said it or whether Wilder's trainer said it or manager. 40 pounds, poor excuse. Gloves, major poor excuse, especially from somebody with Thai bowl skills and had 1 in 4 in kickboxing and doesn't even know how to use his equipment correctly and thinks that he's actually, you know what I mean? No, gonna explain to people that have been watching boxing way before he was born, way before Wilder's been throwing on gloves, even thought about talking about entering boxing. Gotta understand, man. It's the towel. That towel. That white flag. I give up. No more. Stop hurting my man. Okay, we quit. No more punishment. Ref, please step in. His Twinkies are swollen. It's over. That's what it's all about. It got nothing to do with a farmer talking about the first fight. It got nothing to do with gloves talking about the first fight when it had nothing to do with the second fight. It got nothing with everybody.
The farmer ain't got nothing to do with Wilder. The farmer got to do with Vlad.
No. The farmer got nothing to do with this period. Y'all just running with shit. Y'all just running with anything.
You keep saying y'all. You sound mad, bro.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. And you could stop that reverse psychology bullshit. Matter of fact, yo, can you bring this banner down? I want to know who I'm talking to. JR.
That's who you're talking to. You're talking to YSM, but that's who it is.
All right. Well, YSM. It's funny how your demeanor changed. You know what I mean? Tuck your cape back in, my man. There's no need to. I'm talking to the crazy Wilder fans. You stated in the beginning.
You said y'all though.
Hold on, y'all.
Yo, my man, you need to watch yourself.
No, my man.
You need to watch yourself, yo.
You need to watch yourself. What's the matter? I'm exposing
my man,
you now.
You need to watch yourself.
I'm exposing you now. Is that what it is?
You
Is
need
that
to
why
watch
you getting
yourself.
mad?
Hey,
Why you getting
You need to
mad?
watch yourself, yo.
Mute
You need to
yourself
watch
and let
yourself.
me speak. Let me
You need to
speak.
watch yourself, yo.
Listen, my man.
hold on.
I've been on this platform doing this shit way before you, my nigga. You understand what I'm
Hey,
saying?
hold on, man.
Now that
Hold
I
on.
You
fuck
come
with
to
Hold on. Hey, we ain't gonna be going back and forth
hold
with
on.
that.
You're muting me. You're muting me. Out of all
I
people,
am.
out of all
Hold
people,
on.
man, you
Hold
know
on.
I'm
Hold
right.
on just a
So
second.
why make the stream, JR? Why make the stream then? Why
Hold
make
on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
isn't this
Hold on.
time?
Hold
Nah,
on
man,
a
yo,
second.
peace later.
Hold on a second. See, here's now that I'm not gonna tolerate. I'm not going to tolerate, man. That is not what I'm going to tolerate. You can't, number one, and I speak with Jay on this multiple times over. I don't bring emotion to this type of things. I don't. I make jokes about it, but I'm real serious about this. Okay? But my thing is that both on both sides, and that's why I muted both Jay and you to lay down what happens in a particular debate. One thing is you cannot generalize. You can't group everybody in the same thing. Okay? Now, Jamil,
yo.
you pretty much triggered him in that instance when you said you better watch yourself. I'm going to say that you triggered him in that instance. Now, he pretty much overstepped his boundary when he tried to
Jay,
lump you in the same group.
I asked
Okay?
him why was he mad, because okay, we're having a general boxing conversation, but it seemed like his stuff is more personal. So I'm like, yo, like it ain't got into, like, you bringing up the farmer. The farmer ain't got nothing to do with Wilder, but it's coming out like vitriol. So I'm like, bro, why you mad?
Yeah, like
But
you can't.
he kept taking it. He kept taking it over the line. That's why I told him, watch yourself.
Right.
Because now you're taking it the way you're talking. Now you're taking it someplace else. Now that the first question I asked was, you go to boxing event? Because you already know what's on my mind.
So my thing is that I don't. When I try to bring up a point, I don't say things like, "Oh, the usual things, right? Like, oh, I've been in the ring, so if you've never been in the ring before, then you don't know what you're talking about." That something like that, I get very upset about, because it's like, one, I don't care if you've laced up your gloves once or if you've laced up your gloves 1,000 times. There are people out there that have been within the sport of boxing longer than all of us that have never touched the glove. Never. So if I brought them up in a discussion against you, you wouldn't be able to know more than they do, and you wouldn't even think about bringing that type of thing in an argument with them. But yet, you would try to do that with me? No, I don't allow that. So when it comes to that type of stuff, I don't accept that to myself or to anybody. Okay? Because I've said this multiple times. As an adult, if you know what you're talking about and you could stand on what you're talking about, you can't necessarily bring insults in. You can't, try to denigrate the person that you're debating. You can't do that. You have to stand on what you have. You have to stand on the evidence that you have and make your discussion off of that. You can have a disagreement, but you cannot denigrate the person that you're debating. You can't do that. And one thing that I don't do is I don't say, "Watch out, my nigga." Like I don't do that. Never, never, ever. So I've known Jay for a long time. I've known Jay before I've known you, Jamil.
Mhm.
But one thing I don't tolerate, I don't do allegiances. I don't do that with anyone. I don't do allegiances with anyone. So if it's two adults debating against each other, I'm out of it. It's one
Hey,
on one.
hey Jay, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna go. You my man, right? So
Hmm.
I didn't mean to get into an argument on your platform, but if we're debating, there's gonna be a certain way that you're gonna speak to me. Simple as that.
Right,
We're all men, right? And we can all debate like men. But
right.
once you take it past a certain point, all right, well, it's there. So, like I said, you my guy. So I'm not gonna do that on your platform. I apologize.
Hmm.
But as far as ball goes, I'll see him again. All right,
Yeah.
I'm
All
going.
right. Bet. Now, going back to this whole thing with Wilder, man. We were talking about young Pharaoh. Um, this is something that was, just brought up here. Um, so apparently, there's a petition that is out that says, uh, "Young Pharaoh needs your help with Nevada State Athletic Commission disqualify Tyson Fury for cheating in both fights and grant Deontay Wilder a 44 and 0 record. Join him in 5,196 supporters today." Oh man, like this is just bad. This is just horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, these some of these Wilder fans just got to let it go. One thing that YSM would have talked about, because I've talked with him at length as well, is that Wilder just needs to work on becoming a better fighter. The more excuses that come up and the more excuses that he puts up does not help him at all. I've always stated that, the way that Tyson Fury prepared for the rematch is the perfect way to prepare for a rematch against Deontay Wilder. And he was able to do what he said he was going to do because he already had the physical advantages over Deontay Wilder when it comes to height and reach. And like I was saying, against the likes of Eric Molina and Johan Duhaupas, and to a certain extent Dominic Brazil, Deontay Wilder had issues with those fighters because they were around the same height and had almost the same reach. So he couldn't, sit back and, use his length with his left hand to control distance against his opponent like that. So that's why, even with the first fight, the first round, once the first round basically happened um in the first fight, Tyson Fury was able to use his reach advantage, to use that jab to go around what Deontay Wilder was going to do. And so Deontay Wilder had to, make an adjustment there. I don't buy into the whole thing about Deontay Wilder being quote unquote athletic, because he doesn't move around the ring with like bouncing on his feet and moving in and around the ring. He pretty much moves laterally, 1, 2. He has a set set pace on how he moves his feet. 1, 2, 1, 2, whether it's forwards or backwards or over to the side. He doesn't bounce around the ring. Like when you see Tyson Fury bounces around the ring. He's able to, do feints, bounce in and out, and give feints and, throw jabs and things like that. But Deontay Wilder stays stationary a lot and moves pretty much in a slow pace with his feet. So his footwork has to be worked on as well. Like he needs to move around the ring more and be more active with his foot movement or his feet work, as he has said before. His feet work, not his footwork, but his feet work. And if he works on that a little bit more and then becomes more active with the jab, then he should be, a little bit better as a fighter. Now, a lot of people talk about his chief second, Mark Breland. And given the extensive background of Mark Breland being a gold medalist in one of the greatest U.S. boxing teams in Olympic history, becoming a world champion in the professional ranks, that he would be able to teach almost better than anyone how to use your, height and reach. Now, at one particular point, Deontay Wilder was with around the Kronk Gym and around Emmanuel Stewart, who is probably the greatest trainer for tall fighters. If you get his extensive history, he worked with Lennox Lewis after, Lennox Lewis got himself chin checked by Oliver McCall, and was able to have, himself a reign also up until the point of where he got, chin checked once again by Hasim Rahman, and then he beat Hasim Rahman. But you have, him. You have Emmanuel Stewart with Vladimir Klitschko as well. So if there was like anyone that could have worked within the Kronk Gym, it was, Deontay Wilder. And that, he kind of didn't improve himself when it came to working on his height and reach. So that was the thing. And, I keep saying that, Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury was around that same, Kronk Gym beforehand. So, and that was like, years ago when that pretty much happened, is that you had Tyson Fury in the Kronk Gym with Manuel Stewart. And I mean, here you go. I mean, you had the video here where you see Tyson Fury years ago, working with Emmanuel Stewart, and you could see, how he basically, worked on his jabs and being active, throwing double jabs, triple jabs. And if you see, Tyson Fury here, and you see Tyson Fury now, he pretty much has those same, skills, those same abilities. And you see basically that, him working on his hand speed, his foot movement, moving to the side, working on, counters there with Emmanuel Stewart. Like you see what he did with the left. He did the jab and the hook and then another jab with the left. So that's the type of thing that Tyson Fury has been working on for a long time. I've said about his, extensive background as a fighter. He's a fighting man, and one of the things that he was talking about when he was, talking back and forth with Deontay Wilder is he's like you're a basketball player. You're basically like a part time fighter. I've been fighting all my life. I'm not going to allow someone like you be able to defeat me, who's fought pretty much all his life. So, while he is a tall guy and, guys of that height and stature kind of look a little bit clumsy because, usually you don't see guys of this height, you know, moving around the ring like he moves around the ring. So it does take, some little things to get used to. You know, it does take some things for people to get used to of his height. That's why you don't see, many guys of that height be in the boxing game. Um, so that's the thing with Tyson Fury. But when it comes to Deontay Wilder, we don't know what's going to happen with this whole little thing about being quarantined or whatever it is. Um, so that originally scheduled fight that was supposed to be for what, July 18th. Even then, I had some doubts that it was going to happen on July 18th. Now, with the uncertainty of when the sporting events will start back up, that means the dates that are, there for MGM Grand Garden Arena, the available dates are going to be very limited. So you're not going to necessarily have, that many open dates for Wilder Fury 3 or Fury Wilder 3 to basically happen. We know that you had the announcement for um, Canelo Golovkin 3 to be scheduled for September 12th, and that's going to be at AT&T Stadium. Remember, the two fights were over in Las Vegas. So now having this at AT&T Stadium, that possibly could open things up for a Wilder Fury 3 to be in September, maybe on September 19th. Maybe September 5th or September 26th. But we'll see what happens with all of that. But in reference to this, we got to see what's going on with Deontay Wilder. You had the whole thing about him having that video on social media. He was, out and about, having a little photo shoot for a magazine, fashion magazine, as well. So right now, it's kind of like uncertain on what Deontay Wilder is doing to prepare himself for the third fight. First of all, we'll see what happens with the date for that third fight. And then once we have a solid date for that third fight, then we will see how Deontay Wilder prepares himself for this third fight. I'm not sure what he can do at this particular point, especially if it's an immediate rematch. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to particularly do at this point in order to defeat Tyson Fury, but he has to do something. And message to most of the fans of Deontay Wilder: you need to back your man and stop with the excuses. See if he's going to be able to work on his footwork. See if he's going to be able to work on his punch activity, his punch output, because that's another thing that he doesn't necessarily do that well, is be that active with his punching output. He throws a lot of punches with a lot of emphasis behind them. That's why he gets injured a lot, because he puts too much behind his punches, too much effort. Whether it's a windmill punch or not, he puts too much effort behind those punches, and he overextends himself. And he has to work on being, patient and staying within his stance and throwing punches and being confident with his punches and keep, punching square, punching square. Work on defense. Work on catching punches. Because that's another thing that Fury did, was he caught punches. So that's another thing that he has to think about. Now, one thing before I roll. We talk about the whole thing with the gloves. So this whole glove thing has been going on back and forth for weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks. I will go ahead and show Jorge Capetillo talking about the thing with the gloves. So we're going to go ahead and run that here.
Hello, my people. This is Jorge Capetillo, and I want to thank WBN to having me. And today we want to explain to you guys and how Tyson Fury didn't manipulate his gloves. We want to try and explain to you why the people say that the gloves looks floppy and stuff. The gloves were okay. And today I'm gonna show to you the Everlast MX that Fury used to use for the Otto Walling fight and for the Tom Schwarz fight. And on this one, he lose Puffy Sports. But we want to try and explain to you how Tyson Fury it was clean about his glove. If I want to clear it up that the Commission of Nevada, when you have a championship fight, you give the glove to the commission. The commission get in charge of those gloves. You have a meeting where both fighters choose the gloves. The inspector check the glove, so the gloves are okay. And as soon as the meeting is done and the fighter choose this glove, we're ready to go. The commission is very important to clear this. The commission keep these gloves and they bring to you to the locker room into fight time. When the fighter is ready to glove bomb, that's where the commission bring the glove to the locker room and ask you at what time you guys gonna wrap, at what time you're gonna glove bomb, and the chief trainer between both camps they agree to a certain time to wrap and they agree to certain time to glove bomb. So there's no time to manipulate the gloves. That's a joke. So as you can see, we're gonna use the Everlast MX. This is a 10 ounces. This is a 10 ounces Everlast MX. Similar, different color, but similar style that Tyson Fury been using in the last two fights with Otto Wallen and Tom Schwarz. So let me show to you. When the commission bring the gloves and the fighter is already wrapped, they ask you when is going to be the time to glove bomb, and as soon as we agree about the time and everything, the commission bring the gloves to you to the team, and you start glove bomb. Now, the only way that you cannot tie your gloves properly is when you're trying to skin it, to skin the glove. When you tie them up from here and you skin it like that. As you can see, when you skin it, you make the whole party go back. And this is not allowed by the commission or the inspector in charge and the locker room. The proper way to tie your glove it has to be from right here, as you can see. This is the proper way and the legal way to tie the glove. You're gonna do the same here, and I'm gonna put some tape so that people can see how it looks when you put a tape. Same thing. It can be on top of the line, has to be from here. And then they ask you to tape it up. The same thing, the thing has to be in the same line. So this is a proper way to tie up a glove to fight. This will be good by the inspector. Why? Because as you can see, it's in the proper way. It can be on top. You can skin the glove. It has to be from here. Now, people are saying that why they look the gloves of Tyson Fury were looking floppy. I won't say they look floppy. What happened is Tyson sometimes can slap you. As you can see, he opened his palm. He opened his palm a little bit. We're gonna do the same here. And
All right. Now I was going to put a pause to that. And the thing with what Jorge Capetillo basically, what he basically demonstrated there at the last part was that he was talking about the gloves looking kind of floppy. The thing with that is, you know how they have a glove when you have your hand taped, it's taped and wrapped around. But when you have a glove, it's not like you have your hand like this from round 1 to round 12. You could move your hand around, especially within the glove. So you could have it in a closed fist, and you could open your 4 fingers. So you could basically slap like that, or you could open your glove and extend out your fist. So when you throw that jab, excuse me, when you throw that jab, you basically can slap it out. So you can have it like this enclosed, or you can have it like this, open, close, open. You see how your reach could be extended a little bit when you have that. Now, I'm 6'3" with a hand like this. Imagine a guy 6'9" that has a larger hand. Number one. And number two, you have 10-ounce gloves. Now, me at 6'3" with 10-ounce gloves, the gloves have to be able to have that 10-ounce weight distributed around this hand. Imagine if it's 10 ounces with a guy that's 6'9" that has bigger hands than this. So you're dealing with someone that is 6'9" that has bigger hands, that has 10-ounce gloves, where that 10 ounces has to be distributed evenly within the hand. So the way that punch from a guy 6'9" with 10-ounce gloves is going to be a lot different than a guy that's 6'3" with 10-ounce gloves, because the padding within my 10-ounce gloves is going to be distributed differently than a guy that's 6'9" that has bigger hands with 10-ounce gloves. So you're dealing with a guy that may end up having a harder punch, even though Deontay Wilder claimed immediately after the fight that he wasn't hurt by Tyson Fury's punches. but it's Tyson Fury with 10-ounce gloves that's 6'9". So it's a lot different taking punches from a guy 6'9" than it is from a guy that's 6'4" or 6'3". So that's another thing in reference to the excuses that are included with this thing. Now, that's pretty much the end of my video. Be sure to subscribe to the Boxing Source. You could like the video here and subscribe to the Boxing Source. Shout out to the Boxing JEDI COTTO. Shout out to Fighter IQ. Shout out to YSM Sports Media. He's out there working hard, brother Jamil. And that's it for me, man. On that note, I'm out. Peace.